things will be different for different areas. For example, if you go to Rajasthan, you go to Gujarat, you'll have different perspective, you'll have different background. And when we have in our state, in Himachal Pradesh, we have the cold deserts as well as the subtropical regions. So we have also seen a different kind of watersheds or catchment areas. So if I go with the concept of watershed, uh, we have three things to understand first. First is watershed, second is watershed management, and third is watershed development. So when I go with the concept of watershed, people generally have the understanding that the watershed is just a program or just a what do you say, just the collection of water, storage of water. Likewise, so generally people think, even in the rural areas, or if we go with the project implementing agencies also, so they have general understanding, they have their own mindset that watershed is uh, just the storage of water, not more than that. So I just want to clear here that watershed management, and watershed development, these are three different concepts. When we think of watershed, we have we have a geographical geographical unit where we see water flowing from ridge to the lower areas, from here to lower areas, from every side, with the slope, with the gradient, and finally these all drainage. For example, the water is coming from this ridge and coming down to this small nala, or whatever you call it, a bigger drain, and then coming here to down the link, and from here to here, here to here, and finally getting an exit from a common outlet. So the area which this whole drainage system has left here is called a watershed. And these different slopes which is giving water to this whole watershed, each area is known as the catchment. So this is basic concept of watershed. So if we'll have to make rural people understand about the watershed concept, we can generally give an example, quoting this what do you call, the people this people tree leaf. So this people tree leaf has veins inside the leaf. So you can imagine these veins are like drainage in whole of the watershed. And finally, uh, the midrib in the leaf is like this now. So that is what you call a watershed. When you go to the next level, that yes, the patient has come, now this patient has to get treated. That means if there are certain issues in this watershed area, you'll have to make the treatment plan. So this treatment plan basically has certain things to place to keep things place from ridge to valley. Why? Because water will be flowing from ridge to valley, so we'll have to make certain arrangements. We'll have to give technical inputs so that we can have the proper soil moisture conserved in this area. So that treatment plan which we will put in place here is called as the watershed management. And finally, after 3, 4, or 5 years, when you get certain results, for example, we are getting we were getting 2 tons of wheat from this area, this watershed area. prior to the implementation of any watershed intervention. And after 4 to 5 years, we are getting 3 to 4 tons weight. So that is basically one output out of this watershed area. So that is known as watershed development. So there are three basic concepts which everyone needs to understand. I hope this is clear. I'll just show one picture here. Yeah, this picture. So this is just the animation part. So I was just talking about these catchment areas. That yes, one drain will certainly come from the ridge area and will join the other drain. This is called primary drain. This is called primary drain. Ultimately, when two primary drains meets here, then they will form secondary and then tertiary, and gradually they will meet the bigger nala or water drainage, and finally go out of this area from a common outlet. So this area which was left behind is a geohydrological unit which you call a watershed. So we are making interventions in this area, in this area, in this area, and then we'll go gradually to the lower part of this belt. So finally, we will make such a plan that every part of it will get a minimum moisture level, and which will result into the higher production of agriculture, horticulture, or whatever produce you are putting in here. So that is the basic concept of watershed. So we will align it to certain other things, but we'll first look into the planning part of it. When we go for the planning of watershed, this is basically a delineated area out of a map where we plan in such a way that upper part, that is ridge area will come here, and down below this whole area, this is your valley region. So ultimately, we will plan from ridge to valley. So this is Survey of India sheet, and this second image, this is basically GIS imagery or GIS image. Many of you must be working on the GIS also. So this whole shows the drainage map. This is one of the districts in Himachal Pradesh. We have made this map just to show the drainage pattern here, so that we can just plan or we can make the treatment plan for this watershed area. So I have just two sources to show here. Survey of India is not that relevant in today's time, because this was the conventional method we used to do in the past. Now there are so many options here indeed. There are some open sources, and there are some free softwares available in the market. But I would just recommend, since you are technical faculty, so I would recommend that you must go to this site. This is developed by ISRO. This is Bhuvan Panchayat. Bhuvan Panchayat is basically decentralized mechanism to just map any panchayat, any village with respect to the drainage pattern, lineaments like your slope, your gradients, your then again your profile of the vegetation, your agriculture land, agriculture area. So there are different technical institutions which are working on the laying out of these maps on the what do you call the revenue maps, so that the planning could be done in a better way. So I hope I'm not. Hello. I hope I'm understandable. These slides are okay to you, or shall I go with the some more basic things, or I'll switch? I should switch over to the higher version. Is it fine with all of you? Please, can somebody tell?
Uh, yes, yes, Dr. Pravesh, I
Yeah.
think we can move ahead.
Okay.
Participants are responding in the
Okay.
chat box.
Okay. If there is some query, please let me know, because I'm just able to see my own slides. So
Right,
there is no other way to
right.
connect to the people. So if there is any query or any question from the participant side, please, you can ask anytime. So this is what I'm talking about. This is your catchment area. So the rain is coming from the primary drainage line to the secondary drainage line. First order stream, you can see here, first order stream, then second order stream, and finally going down the lane. So this whole planning thing, this is watershed management basically. So what we are doing. So in way back in 2006 or 7, there was some problem in the Sukna catchment area, and which resulted into more siltation in the lake, Sukna Lake. So I was working in this area at that time. So the problem was that the catchment plan has some faulty structures there. So when we are planning any watershed area from ridge to valley, we just need to take care of two, three things. First, surface runoff. Sir, you have to minimize the surface runoff first. For that, you have to either plant the trees or grasses in the ridge area. Then you have to make these gully plugging structures. You have to plug the drains so that the fine particles, which we call the silt doesn't flow down. Once you have trapped this silt here, you'll get first thing you will do is you will reduce the, or you will minimize the velocity of runoff, and you'll get these silt particles trapped here. And then finally, when the water flows down, you can plan the other structure like Gapian Dam and Ardhan Dam or any check dam. But our focus has changed a bit in recent scenario, when we are talking and government of India is talking about doubling the farmers' income, making India self-reliant in terms of food security. So we have shifted a bit from doing these things to certain other areas. That is, I'll come to these points also. First is to revive your traditional sources. For example, these spring sheds, especially in the hilly areas or even in the plain areas, we have the problem of this spring shed revival. So what we have to do is we just need to make certain interventions like contour bunds, like contour trenches. So in Himachal Pradesh, in Uttarakhand, in northeast region, especially in Sikkim, there have been a continuous effort going on this, making these structures to just to revive the spring shed. So the contour trenches actually, I'll be showing, I think, here, yes. Contour trenches are just like this, these structures. These are actually not concrete structures, they are just temporary structures, temporary trenches made just to retain the water and just to make the moisture available in the soil. And very important part is that you can put in this effort only in the areas where slope is between 10 degree to 25 degree. So this is very important, because if we do not follow these technical rules, we will just end up with messing up the things, and instead of getting this area moisture rich, we will make the flood in the lower region otherwise. So these kind of structures have been uh, prevalent in Sikkim, especially Sikkim and Uttarakhand. This is one news article which was there in the newspaper 2 3 years back. This is from Uttarakhand. They have made good interventions in terms of making contour trenches and getting these spring sheds revived back. So this is one of the very key example from Sikkim. Actually, they have made a very good efforts in reviving the spring sheds. This is called Dharavikas. You can go to YouTube or you can just search the page of government of Sikkim. You will find it there. This was done with the help of People Science Institute from Dehradun, Uttarakhand. They have just made very basic thing here. They have made dugout ponds in the depressions, especially in the higher reaches, and they revived back the spring shares because of this simple effort. That is by just digging the ponds in the in the these what do you call depressions, and finally they got these spring chips revived. So my point here is that first we will have to work on the source. If we talk about the drinking water, the water for irrigation purpose, and water for other purposes, for example for livestock, we just need to revive our sources. If I talk about the Jal Jeevan Mission or some other efforts which are going on in every state, so we are concentrating on the asset making part first. But there is a dire need of reviving your source first. To revive your sources, these efforts should be made in the higher reaches first, from where your source is coming. So ultimately, if I go by this example, this is also from Himachal Pradesh. What they have done, they have clubbed two schemes together. They have made one chamber near the source, and finally they have distributed this water with the help of another scheme. One was Watershed program, and another one was Manrega. You all know Manrega, which is being implemented in every state in the rural areas. This is basically an employment generation program, but also there are assets which are being made, especially the water harvesting and water conservation measures. It is one of the key areas of MG Narega. So, anyways, they have made beautiful efforts just to minimize the water loss. They have made small chambers and distributed these water to every farmland. So they have converged two schemes. This is done in the with the help of convergence of two schemes, and they have developed this command area. We call this area as command area. So this whole program is command area development. So first we'll have to revive our source, and then we'll have to manage the command area, and finally we'll have to work on the precise technology or climate smart agriculture practices. That is, if we follow the rules of this drip irrigation or some other technical interventions, we can get better results. This was whole basically the conceptual part of watershed, that what we are focusing on, what is actually a watershed, what interventions you need for future, and how you can visualize the development part of it. When you go to the field, you will be a little bit surprised that things are not going that way, which you have visualized or which you have planned first. When you made some planning report, some project report for a particular project where watershed interventions were required. So when you see in the field, you will find such many structures which are not in use. So recently, I have concluded some 80 projects of watershed which were being actually executed by Rural Development Department. Uh, these projects have taken more than 5 to 7 years, I think, more than 7 years to complete. And this is the end line evaluation results which I have conducted. So you will not find it like as we can see in the concepts part, that get a sponge-like structure, or we will absorb the water, we will recharge the groundwater, we will recharge the aquifers, we will get good plantations done, we will get good grasslands to see, we will get good production from the farmland. You will observe that some of your money or most of your money is going on these wasteful structures, which were never been used by the community or the beneficiaries. So you can see the weeds are growing inside the water harvesting structure. So likewise, some states are prone to various disasters. For example, Himachal Pradesh, Uttarakhand, these hilly areas, they are prone to disasters like landslides, avalanches in snowbound areas. So there are certain issues with the implementation of such projects. So we just need to focus on the planning part first. And for that, we just need to know everything about the area. That means everything means soil profile, your agriculture profile, your forest area profile, and your whole drainage system. So that way we can just plan that which domain falls under watershed management and which domain falls under agriculture area, which is to be taken care by the forest department likewise. So there are certain good examples of watershed also. These are the ponds which have been made, which have made good impact in the watershed area. They have resulted into good production in the farmers, the farmers produce. So I'll come to the good cases also, which are good practices which have been uh, made by different people in the village areas. So these are good harvesting structures. Uh, so you can see, I just made these pictures just available to just to show you. So we have different things going on in and around. Like if you see in the light of climate change, there are increasing the calamities, natural calamities have the number has been increasing. Increase in population, of course, industrialization is more, and lesser availability of water. As I was discussing that the source is not available, resource degradation is there. So there are so many challenges, and especially the climate change. So pattern has been changed. So we just need to put in some watershed interventions in place so that we can just cope up with the things coming, which are coming and doing adverse effects. I just want to know from the participant side if there is uh, some question from participants, please. I hope you are not getting bored. Is everything all right?
Yes, sir, everything all fine.
Someone is saying no, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Yeah, can you just please elaborate a bit on the resource degradation part?
Yeah. Okay, okay. Please. Uh, from the resource degradation part, I just meant that soil profile, if you see, there are certain changes. In our area, we are just getting our cultivable area converted into the wasteland. For there is lot and lots of deforestation activities going on, especially in the higher belt in Himachal Pradesh. There have been the practice of this encroachment for apple cultivation going on, which has resulted into degradation in the forest area. Likewise, the pollution and the sanitation issue, like solid waste issue, has resulted into degradation of the water resources. Water resources are choked at many places. Water resources are declining. Likewise, there are certain peripheral issues. So, in terms of water, in terms of soil, in terms of forest area, in terms of agriculture area, I'm using these terms for these resources. And there is not constructive thing going on. So we have certain things to flag here that watershed management or the activities under watershed can at least mitigate or at least counter these challenges which are coming in our way. And these are also somehow responsible for the climate change. Not certainly the climate change, but the changes, adverse changes. I hope I am clear on this part.
Yes, sir. It also involves the soil erosion, I think.
Yeah,
Just
yeah, soil erosion is very, very important part. So that's what I was reiterating that just to check the soil erosion, just to check the soil, water runoff, surface water runoff, and the deforestation part, the grazing area to just to reclaim the soil. So watershed is very, very important. Now I will just move to the next part of it. Actually, watershed is not uh, just confined to the technical aspect that we have. Okay, we have just made the check walls, we have made the gully plugging, we have made the check dams, we have conserved the water, we have harvested the water. This is just to link with the livelihood of the people. That is another major area which is very, very important. And if I say, and if I go to the background of it, we have been changing the guidelines in every 5 or 10 years. For example, we started the watershed interventions way back in 70s, and the Ministry of Agriculture was the pioneer in this area when river valley projects were undergoing in the southern part of the country. And then we moved to the next phase when we realized that certain areas have been changed to desert areas. Certain areas are going to be the wastelands. So we came up with the Hanumanta Rao committee recommendations and we put in place some projects. First project was Desert Prone Area Program, which was focused on the areas where the soil profile is getting changed, was getting changed. And then DDP, Desert Development Program, Desert development program was focused on the desertified areas. For example, in Rajasthan, Gujarat, in our area we have cold desert, so it was confined to the cold desert part. Then third program came the IWDP, Integrated Wasteland Development Program, which was confined to the areas which have wastelands. So the reclamation of wasteland was the prime objective of that program. And after that, when we realized that we are technically okay with the programs, but there is a huge gap in the implementation of it. So we came forward with another program that was IWMP. In 2009-10, first batch of integrated watershed management program IWMP was launched, and we put in one very important aspect in it, that was livelihood component. 9% of the whole budget was dedicated for livelihood activities. Can anyone can anyone uh, guess why this livelihood component was added? Why not in previous programs? Why not in DDP, DPAP, or IWDP? Why in IWMPE, 9% of the whole budget was dedicated for livelihood activities only? Any guesses, please? Kindly interact. I wish this program could have been in physical mode, but
Sir, actually,
yeah,
9% of the budget is being contributed in order to actually motivate some people or in order to support some people economically, first of all,
great,
and yes, and there are organization institutes. The government of India is now actually through the innovation cell, specially they are actually asking people to join hands
mhm,
with some initiatives and the collaborations or the conducting of the small programs to
uh,
the rural areas to making the rural areas smart or to improve the quality living in the rural areas. That's one objective could be.
great. Thank you so much. Actually, this was just to ensure the people's participation. If we put something for the people's livelihood, people's economic development, then we can little bit ensure the people's participation. As we see, previous programs were focusing on the technical aspect only, the area development. I hope you have listened to me very carefully that when I talk about this DDP, DPAP, or IWDP projects, these all programs were focusing on the specific areas. If I talk about the DDP, it was focusing on deserts. In IWDP, the program was focusing on the wasteland, reclamation of the wasteland. So technically, we were going good. I mean, implementing agencies were doing their work, whether building some check dam in the Nala or some plugging some drainage or doing something. So technically, we were good, but there was no people's participation. And basic fundamental of this rural development is people's participation. You'll have to ensure the people's participation. Then every program, every scheme, every activity of the rural development has the chances of getting it successful. So that is why 9% of the budget in case of integrated watershed management program was dedicated for the livelihood activities, so that people could be engaged in different livelihood activities. For example, making or forming these self-help groups, or putting in some funds for micro enterprises development at the rural level. So that was the main agenda of the program. After that, when we moved to next era, we talked about the doubling of farmers' income, making farmers self-reliant. So the government introduced one more scheme in way back in 2015, that was Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana. And this Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana was majorly focusing on the farmlands. So introducing good farming practices, making area more irrigation focused, the climate smart agriculture system, and putting in some livelihood activities which were related to the farm based livelihood activities. So, when we talk about the Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana, our focus has little bit changed to the improving the farmlands through better irrigation practices. Now, in 2022, we are in second phase of this Pradhan Mantri Krishi Sinchai Yojana, where we have moved one step ahead. Now we are talking about the introduction of farmer producer organizations, custom hiring centers. We are talking about the other interventions which are required at the farm level. We are also focusing on the revival of the spring shed, just to make the source very potent, so that we can have water throughout the year for different purposes based on the water budget. So likewise, we have seen so many shifts in the watershed programs based on the situations. The only issue is we have so much area which is rain fed. So just to counter this fact, we have been implementing these watershed programs from time to time, and we have been changing the programs like this. So the next uh, particular issue related to watershed is involving the community living in the watershed area. For that, I have certain cases from field which I would like to share with you. First thing is that when you talk about the natural resource management and the livelihood, we have one very successful model which was developed by DFID UK, and it was known as the five capital model. And this five capital model is basically based on development of five capitals. One is human capital, second is social capital, third is natural capital, which is the key area of these five capitals, and then fourth is physical capital, and fifth one is financial capital. If you work on development of all these five capitals in any rural area, in watershed area, you can get better results always, be it a hilly state, be it a plain area, be it any area uh, where rural community is residing. So my first example comes from uh, one of the villages which lies in some mountain or low hills in Himachal Pradesh. This is the map of Himachal Pradesh. If I talk about this area, this is smallest district of Himachal Pradesh, Hamirpur district, and this village is known as Patanatu village. And here I would like to emphasize on one aspect, that if you talk about getting good livelihood out of one small area, especially when you are talking about the farm based practices, you'll have to diversify the agriculture, diversify the horticulture, or whatever practices you are doing in the farmland. So here, this person is Mr. Dhanira, he's 74 years old. He is working on his farm Important part is that he is living in this subtropical, sub-mountain, low-hill area. And when we talk about Himachal Pradesh, especially in this range, we find so many apple orchards. It is good for the apple orchard. This belt, high hills, temperate, wet area. This one. But when we talk about these lower areas, these are basically subtropical areas. Temperature is very high, humidity is low. So, likewise, this is very dry region. But he has made certain efforts and he has grown these apple orchards. Not only apple orchards, he has also worked on certain other fruits, on especially of the citrus varieties. He has worked on certain very rare exotic plants like hing, which you call asphodela. He has worked on different other different crops like sugar canes. You can see if it is visible. I don't know. This is sugarcane crop. He is making jaggery out of it, and the pulses are there. Vegetables, zayat crops are there, which you call the vegetable crops. Fruits are there. So almost 20 to 25 crops is getting in an year. And just even just imagine he is selling this coriander leaves for the cost of 1.5 lakh in a year. So you can imagine that if we are talking about such a diversification, how much income he must be generating at this moment of time, and he is giving this credit to the watershed management. Basically, he has drawn some water from nearby check dam to his own land. So now he has modified so many things. He has modified his land. He has made land development works, and then he has made these things happen. So this is all about the crop diversification and minimizing the risk of climate adversities which are coming in the way in the further course of time, I believe. So this is another example. This is again from the hills of Himachal Pradesh. It is from one of the villages known as Buira. So the story goes back to late 80s when one lady from Germany came here and settled here. Her name is Lynette Mushran, and she lived here, and the area is famous for peaches. And this particular area is known as Peach Bowl of Asia. Peach Bowl of Asia. So, firstly, what she did, she just made jam out of those peaches traditionally, and just gave it to some friends and I think her relatives for the feedback. Feedback came good, and then she just made another effort. She took this site and then went to villages to just to connect to these people. These 29 women are from a very poor background of Buira village itself. So she somehow connected to these people, these women, and she convinced them that you will make good money out of it. We'll just start this venture together. And she made efforts to make this bottling, this packaging, everything done from Pune, Mumbai. And finally, she started one small venture with name Buhira Gems. You will find a documentary on YouTube also. I have also made one documentary, but that documentary was made by someone else. That is that documentary named I think out of Jam, out of Jam I think. So you can see that full video also. Uh, what she did, she just made this peach jam first, But then the hurdle came that how to go about the, like, for whole of the year, you will not be having work more than three months. So she collected some fresh fruits from nearby areas, and again she started with the higher range. For example, she diversified it from jam to jellies to marmalades, everything. And now they have good quality control center, quality assurance center, account section, everything handled by these women. And now they have, I think, 10, 12 crores of turnover now. So started with a small enterprise and going beyond, like, now you might have seen this Buira gem. This is found in 3-star, 5-star, 7-star hotels in India, and even in abroad they have started exporting this product. So ultimately, my point is that you just have to identify the natural potential of that area. If I talk about the watershed area or any village where you can create something out of the raw material which is available inside the village or inside the watershed area, you can make wonders out of it. You just need to mobilize these five capitals efficiently. First is human capital. This human capital means you need to have humans, you need to cater their needs, you, you need labor, you need skills, you need healthy people to work on this. And then when you talk about the social capital, you talk about the cohesion, social cohesion. So if they work in the group, your social capital will be fulfilled. Then you need the natural capital, of course, this peach or some other fruits. This will work as the natural capital. But the fourth capital is very, very important. That is physical capital. Physical capital is your transportation means, your connectivity, and your physical infrastructure that you need to have. And finally, you need some money. So that is financial capital. If you have a good blend of all these five capitals, you can create good enterprises in your small village also. And last effort, which was carried forward by me, actually, I adopted one village, I adopted one Gram Panchayat way back in 2018, in late 2018-19 actually. So, what I did, firstly, I was very much confused that how to go about to strengthen their uh, economic empowerment, like the people in this village, mostly they were in the BPL, below poverty line, uh, not working, doing some casual labors, and something very casual things. And they have very small land holding. Actually, Himachal has very, very, very small land holding. We have average land holding of 0.95 hectare, less than 1 hectare we are having. So this area has certain other issues. This was area which has very high sunstroke, and the plantation was very less. And plantation, especially of pine needles, or pine plantation was there. Pine plantation has very adverse impact on the climate because it catches fire, frequent fires, especially in the summer time. It catches lots of fire. So what I did, I was doing some uh, Swachh Bharat Mission Abhiyan, some painting competitions in the school. So likewise, I was going, but then I decided that we should have one rooftop rainwater harvesting structure, and we can demonstrate it to people just to adopt it. But it also didn't work. So finally, what I did, I just made one consultative meeting with these 23 women, and I somehow I did the baseline survey also, just to know their family income and other assets they are having. So I just floated one idea that you are having raw material available in the village, that is your pine needles, and we can make some products out of this raw material. So your margin will be high, your input will be very less. So they got convinced. They got convinced when I showed them some products made from pine needles. So, anyways, what we did, we just had one capacity building program, one skill based training of 5 days from 4th of March to 8th of March 2020. Okay, they did very well, and they made it was basic level training actually, and we promised them that we will go for the advanced level training program in 15 to 20 days. But somehow on 23rd or 24th March, this lockdown thing happened, and so we could not get that advanced level training done. So after 5 days of training program, they made such type of products, okay type products. Then when we made one this WhatsApp group just to interact with these participants, so that they can make good products or everything. So we just got to know that most of them were not having the smartphones, not even the internet connection. So that was one more hurdle. So finally, what we did, we were just speaking to them that okay, we have given you one kit having some threads, some needles, scissors. So you can make use of all those things, and raw material you are having in your own place. So please keep on making these products. So after 10 or 15 days, I got one call from a lady. She called me up and she said that, sir, I got 10,000 rupees by selling these products. So I said, okay, good. That is good effort you have made. But what will you do with this money? She said, I have already done. I have purchased one smartphone for me, and now I'll be seeing some YouTube videos just to see how people in abroad are making products from these pine needles. So that way it went, and finally these women did wonderful job. During the lockdown time, they were the only source of I mean they were having this pyramidal products thing, only source of income during this lockdown period. So the sale went from one day, their group has generated 1,000 to 2,000, 4,000, 8,000, and progressively it went to 40,000 per day sale. And finally, when this lockdown was over, we did one advanced level training for them, and then they they had very good income after that, and almost every women they are generating like some margin, having 25,000 per month, 30,000 per month, 40,000 per month sale. So that way this thing is going on, and one lady has generated like 18 lakh income out of these pine needle products. So now they are making such type of pine needle products. See, this is for the flower basket or serving tray. This is your this roti box. This way they are actually innovating new things. This is perfume box. This is your purse from pine needle, So they are making good efforts on it, and for every occasion, every festival, they are making some new things. For example, Rakhi and Raksha Bandhan, some other things in different occasion. So ultimately, the key takeaways, if I talk about, is that you need to strengthen your backward and forward linkage. Watershed is not all about conserving the water, the harvesting the water, or just storage of water. It actually make other opportunities to come forward, like livelihood component of it is very, very important. So if we have good source, we generate good command area, we make full use of and optimum use of the water coming out of it through smart agriculture practices, we can have a number of ventures out of this natural resource base from watershed area. So that was all about from my side so far.